Vegas and welcome to Chris Garcia, the conservative American. I am so proud and so blessed to be an American. Of course, I am a patriot, and I'm so proud that Donald J. Trump is our president. Thank you so much for listening today and tuning in. I want to talk to you about the budget. The budget needs to be passed. $4.1 trillion budget he has for 2018. And, of course, there's going to be stiff cuts. What I want to talk to you about that's just amazing as far as I'm concerned is the fact that when do we plan on balancing the budget? You know, it's just amazing to me. There's always someone who is complaining and arguing about the budget being balanced. And to me, it is just absolutely amazing. You have to balance the budget at some point in time. My background is in economics. I have a master's degree, and you have to keep your books in balance. I mean, at home, you can't be underwater in your bills. You can't have an upside down mortgage. You have to balance the books with $20 trillion. And of course, like all of us that have checkbooks or whatever, those are the things that you just let people know. They say actually the national debt is closer to $80 trillion. $20 trillion is on the books. That's horrible enough. But what's off the books is even more concerning. You know, we are not a socialist country. We're not Cuba. We are not a communist country. We cannot look, and I mean, those are two countries right there. Look at the failures of those countries. You know, we're a democratic country. We're a capitalist country. And we have to pay our bills, or we're going to turn into Cuba, or we're going to turn into Russia. We cannot continue to build on the national debt. I mean, we all fall behind in our bills from time to time. We all need time to catch up, but you have to at least address the issue. And that's something that's been very concerning to me for the United States for the last 3 decades, is that we're not even addressing the issue. I have to give credit where credit is due. I don't care if you're a liberal, a Democrat, a right-wing Republican, what you are. At least during the 90s and during the Clinton era, when the stock market was booming, and when the tech revolution first was taking place, we did take some of that money, the millions and billions of dollars that we were making during the 90s, and we paid down the debt. We paid down at least the interest of the debt. And so at least we were addressing the issue. Since then, we've doubled the debt, almost tripled it. During the Obama administration, during 8 years, we put on $10 trillion of debt in 8 years. We doubled the national debt. So it's something that we've got to address. Anytime, like if you're at home and you're trying to balance your checkbook, you're trying to pay your bills for the month, you have to make cuts. It's unfortunate, but the things that you absolutely don't need, the necessities, you cut them out. And you only address the things that you need. In this country, we have to have a strong military. So we have to spend money on the military. He's got a 10% increase over the next year in military spending. You look at what's going on in Manchester, England, you look at what's going on around the world. And these are things that have to be addressed. We cannot have a weak military. We have to have the ability to respond anywhere around the world in a moment's notice. We're not the world's police, but we do have interests all over the world. And if you have interests all over the world, if you have a business in England, right now you're calling and asking what's going on. So we have businesses and we have bases all over the world. We have investments all over the world. We're the most powerful country on earth. We're the only true superpower. And so we have to protect our national interests, which means our military has to be mobile and has to be the best in the entire world. And we have to be able to respond at a moment's notice. So I'm glad to say I wish it was 20% spending in military. I know President Trump feels the same way, but 10% is all he can afford in his budget for 2018, which will be his first official budget. Because right now we're just making cuts and repealing and replacing things that Barack Obama did in his last budget. He made the budget for this year. So Donald Trump's first budget would actually be 2018. But you have to make tough cuts. And that's something that, you look at everything across the board. You know, there's nothing wrong with helping people out. There's nothing wrong with having programs to help people out, help people get assistance, food stamps, HUD housing, so on and so forth, to get people up on their feet and give them an opportunity. But you cannot be taken advantage of. I don't care if in life, you might let a family member move in for a little while and help them get up on their feet. But if they feel like you're never going to make them do anything, they'll sit there and never get up and look for a job. And I think that that's what's happening a lot in our country right now. We have people that have been on these programs way past what those programs were allocated to pay for. And now it's starting to be a drain on our economy and be a drain on our national debt. There are things that I believe that we need to invest in, and there are things that we need to cut. And there are things that we need to address. Social Security is one thing that nobody ever wanted to touch. But I personally believe that it is not a promise. The New Deal was almost 80 years ago, and I think that it's outdated. I think Franklin Delano Roosevelt did what he had to do at that time because you're coming out of a Great Depression. And so you need people, you need a situation where you have to help people. You have people in this country starving to death. So you had to do something about it. This is a different day and age right now. We don't have people starving to death right now. So the new day, the new age is something that is not happening right now. It's not taking place. Are you looking for Rolando? Was he expecting you? Or?
No, I'm just a friend today.
Okay.
It's early.
Okay. But it's something that has to be addressed. We're talking about, a $20 trillion debt, and it's something that definitely has to be looked into. We have to make cuts where we can. Even the food stamp and the food assistance programs are something that, we have over 100 million Americans that rely upon some sort of food stamp program in this country, and that's doubled over the last 10 years. That's something that is unsustainable. That's something that there's no way we'll ever be able to pay down the national debt if we're paying for all of these social programs the way that they are. It's something that definitely has to be changed, something that definitely has to be looked into. And people are going to complain, people are going to be upset, and people are going to be mad. But it's something that we need to do, and it's something that we need to look into. And it's pulling up your people that can afford to go to work, people that can afford to buy their own food, people that can afford to, even if it's half, if you can contribute to your bills, if you can contribute to different things, that's something that needs to be done. But you can't sit around and just wait for people to take care of you, wait for our government to take care of you. That's something that just cannot happen. We cannot do that. We've got to make cuts where cuts are due. We've got to make cuts where we can make cuts and save the American taxpayer and save our national government as much as we possibly can. We cannot just continue to spend. We're going to spend our way into another recession, a Great Recession, or possibly even a Great Depression. So the $4.1 trillion Trump budget, which calls for cuts in health care, food stamps, student loans, and disability payments. I know a lot of people that go to school as a business, and they go to school just to get the loans. They spend the money, and they only go to as much school as required for them to get their next loan, government loan. And who pays for it when those people never pay back those student loans? The taxpayers do, because the debt goes up, taxes go up, and the taxpayers are the ones that are left on the hook paying for people that use school as a business. I think that that's definitely something that should be looked into. His whole thing is, and this is where a lot of minorities and a lot of people, poor people, are getting upset at him. You cannot sit around and just wait. This is not going to be a socialist country. I know Barack Obama convinced you that that's what it was going to be. It's not going to be. It's not going to be a socialist country. We're not going to let you sit around all day and play video games and do nothing. Well, there's people getting up every day, going to work and fitting the bill. That's not going to happen. You got to get up. This is America, and you got to put your part into the pot. You got to get up every day and pull yourself up by your bootstraps and try and do something to help you and your family. You're not going to be taken care of from cradle to grave like Barack Obama promised you. He lied to you. And that's why Donald Trump is their worst nightmare, because here is a man that is going to show all of you all that Barack Obama's best intentions are making this a socialist country. He's not going to allow that to happen. It's going to be a capitalist country. It's going to be a republic. It's going to be a democratic country, the way our founding fathers meant it to be. So there are going to be cuts in student loans. There's going to be cuts in disability payments. How many people are claiming disability and they're not disabled? That's a scam that's been going on for years. And again, all these people think that they're getting over, and I got over. but you're getting over on us. You're getting over on the people that get up every day and go to work. And guess what? You can only get over for so long. When people get tired, they begin to fight back. And they get tired of being used, and they get tired of seeing their premiums go up in everything, whether it be car insurance, home insurance, food, everything. They're tired of it. It's more expensive to send their kids to school because guess what? Prices go up because people aren't paying back their student loans. People aren't paying their fair share. So everything goes up on the common man, the people that are paying their fair share. We're the ones that get stuck fitting the bill for people that are not holding up their interests, holding up their part. There's a $1.6 billion expenditure put aside to begin construction on the wall. I've said it before. I think it is his biggest campaign promise of every single promise. If you close your eyes and you look back to one thing that Donald J. Trump promised, if you close your eyes and you hear the chants, there's two things I remember. I remember those hats would Make America Great Again, and he would finish every single speech on the stump and was out there campaigning. His last words were, Make America Great Again. But if you think back to every single rally and every single high point conversation, people always started to chant, build that wall, build that wall. If he does not build that wall, I'm a liberal, I'm a Christian conservative, and I'm telling you right now, if I was a liberal, if I was one of those nuts, and I saw no wall built, they're going to have a chant. And trust me, they're going to use that chant. Where is the wall? Where is the wall? I think it's very important that he at least allocate funds, which is what he did. It's half of his campaign promise fulfilled, that he was going to set aside money he campaigned on to build a physical wall. It is fantastic because it all goes together. You want to have more border patrol. You want to have more fences, electric fences. You want to have more vehicles to patrol the border. You need all of that. He definitely spent money on border patrol agents. Less people are coming to this country illegally. It's down 70% since he took office because they know the threat. They're going to do prison time and be deported just simply because of what Donald Trump says, just simply because Donald J. Trump has threatened them, and they're not going to come over here. So it's very good what Donald J. Trump has done. It's fantastic. It's very important. And I think that it's something that had to be done. But I think it's also extremely, extremely, extremely important that he keep his campaign promises. I think that it's very, very important that he does that. The physical wall needs to be built. The people need to see that there's a physical wall that was built, and because if not, it's going to be thrown in his face. And I just think that it's very important that he not just allocate funds, which is half of the promise, but that he actually starts a physical structure. It is very important that we secure our borders. We all see what's happening in England right now, the terrorist attacks that happen in France, and all over the world. And the European Union, which is, I think, ridiculous. I think it will be dissolved within the next decade. I think Britain will lead it. I think Germany, France, they will leave the European Union. And I think that they have let in too many illegals. They have let in too many immigrants. They don't know who these people are. And I believe that they're paying the price. And unfortunately, young victims going to a concert in Manchester, England, an Ariana Grande concert, are the ones that are paying the price for these liberal socialist leaders, Angela Merkel and the rest of them in Europe. And now these young people are paying the price. Donald Trump is trying to avoid that happening in the United States of America. He's trying to secure our borders and stop these things from happening before they happen. And I think that that's extremely, extremely important. We need to build a physical structure that keeps the United States safe, and we need to patrol that physical structure. So I think that this is something that is very, very important. He also is going to increase, like I mentioned, 10% in military spending. I think that that's very important because, once again, we need to have a strong military. And he's going to have huge tax reductions as far as businesses are concerned. We have taxed a lot of businesses out of this country. Listen, I totally understand when you talk about Make America Great Again, keeping corporations here, keeping businesses here. I totally understand why a lot of businesses say, well, I can't stay here. I can't compete here. It's so much cheaper to build the things that we're building and produce the things that we're doing and manufacture the things that we're doing in other countries, in Mexico and all over the world. It's so much cheaper to build these products and pay people in other countries. That's understandable. But I'll say this, it's something that athletes do all the time. It's called the hometown discount. As long as there's not too much of a gap between what you're offering me and what a team 3,000 miles away from my hometown is offering me. If it's not that big of a gap, I'll just lose a few dollars and stay at home. But if the gap is so wide, if you're offering me $50 million to stay at home and someone else is offering me $100 million to leave, I'm going to take the $100 million because that wasn't even a serious offer. You weren't even making it close. You made my decision for me by lowballing me. So if the tax rate is so great between us and Mexico, if it is almost impossible for you to build that product in the United States compared to Mexico, then you should leave and you should build your product in Mexico. That's just economics 101. I'm a businessman and it's all about making money. But if the United States begins to become competitive with its tax rates, if it begins to become competitive with its, as far as wages are concerned, the unions become competitive and at least, it's a decent living rate, but it's not going to be so ridiculous and the compensation package is so ridiculous that it's just not even competitive. If it becomes competitive, and that's what Donald Trump is trying to do, he's trying to lower taxes, he's trying to keep wages competitive, where you will think about keeping your company here, keeping your plant here, and therefore keeping American jobs here. If he does that and you still leave, well, then I think you should be taxed. And I think there should be tariffs on your products, selling them back into the United States. Because you didn't leave because it wasn't competitive. You left because you were greedy. And I think that there's a difference. I think if you're greedy, you should be punished. If you're leaving because it's not fair, the competitive base, and you can show people, hey, the reason I'm leaving here is not because I don't love America. The reason I'm leaving America is because it's not even competitive for me to have a business here. That's understandable. Donald J. Trump is going to work on making America competitive again so that we can keep businesses here and we can keep American jobs here and we can make things here. We can make America great again. That was his pledge, and he's already doing that, whether it be Carrier or Ford. He's keeping businesses here. He's manufacturing things, making things in America again to make America great again. And if you still leave, then he's going to penalize you because you're just leaving over pennies. You're leaving over pennies and nickels. You're not leaving because of such a great disparity between what the United States can offer you and what some other country is offering you. You're just leaving because you're greedy. And for that, I think you should be punished. So I think it's very, very important that the Senate, the Congress, that the House support him in his budget for 2018. He's trying to make America competitive again. He's trying to make America great again. And if you just filibuster everything that he's trying to do, if you just go against everything that he's trying to do, then you should be held accountable when your election is up. And all of these senators and all of these House of Representative members, their elections are coming up in the next year or two, and I think that they should be held accountable. They should be held accountable themselves for just stopping the president of everything he's trying to do. If this man is trying to build a structural wall to keep America safe and you vote it down, when an attack happens in this country, your name should be called. If he's trying to keep America competitive and he's trying to lower taxes for businesses in this country and you vote him down, your name should be up when your election comes up. I think that we should hold our Congress and our House accountable for what's going on in our country. I don't think that they should get a free ride and that they should be socialists and that they should try and tax American businesses out of this country without us knowing how you voted. Let's do a roll call. Let's see how you voted and what you voted for, because we all know what Donald J. Trump stands for. He stands for making America great again. What do you stand for? So I think it's extremely important. A few minutes left in the show today, and I'm going to end it by talking about the fact that we have got to get a hold to what's going on with these nuts out here, these radical Islamic terrorists, or as my president calls them, losers, because that's exactly what they are. I'm sorry, I'm going to steal that from you. I think you should trademark that and make sure terrorists are losers, and that's exactly what they are. And we already have the liberal media jumping on him for calling them losers. They say you shouldn't call them that. You shouldn't call other human beings losers. I didn't know they were human beings. I didn't know people that strapped bombs to themselves and killed 8-year-old kids at an Ariana Grande concert are human beings. Why do these nuts feel like we have to respect them? What if that was your son or daughter that was getting murdered out there going to a concert? Would you still think that that person is human? They're not human beings. They're not human. They're below human beings. They're dogs. And as he says, they're losers. That's exactly what they are. They were losers when they were born, and they were losers when they strapped that bomb to their body and killed innocent women and children. And their families are losers for allowing them to do that. I'll go even a step further. But the fifth suspect was picked up today, and luckily I will give credit to the English security agencies. They foiled, actually, there were more plans for more terrorist bombings that were supposed to happen all over England. And they foiled those plans. So there were lives that were spared, lives that were saved. But just remember, there's people that are coming up voting in England. Of course, I support Brexit that wants to leave the European Union. And they're more of a nationalist party, and they want to make Britain for England again. They want to make it for British people again. And that's what they should do. They should take care of their own people and stop taking all these nuts into Great Britain, because now we have innocent women and children that are getting slaughtered at these concerts because you're letting these foreigners in and you're not vetting them, and now you're paying the consequences of that. But a fifth suspect was picked up, and his brother was arrested in Libya, which foiled another terrorist attack that they were planning. But just be aware, for all of you people voting for Angela Merkel in Germany and voting for all these liberal parties all over Europe, you are now paying the cost of what's going on. We didn't do that in this country. We could have voted the most liberal nut that's ever lived, Hillary Rodham Clinton, and instead we voted for Donald Trump. And we're getting a wall built instead of a wall open and allowing all these nuts. That could have happened in the United States of America. But they know not to come over here now because we have a real president. And soon, $1.6 billion has been put aside for a physical southern structure, a physical wall. Another campaign promise kept. So once again, if you don't vote this $4.1 trillion Trump budget into existence, if you stop us from building a southern wall, you're on call. I'm going to talk about you every single day. I'm going to find out who voted down and who voted for Donald Trump's budget. And we're going to hold you accountable on this show and on Radio Tribune. I want to thank you so much for watching today. Once again, I'm so blessed to be an American citizen. God bless America, and God bless our troops, and Godspeed to my president, Donald Trump. I hope you come home safe.